People often ask me, what are the potential problems I could face with my trademark application? Well, to be honest, this is a very complex question and might take many videos to even begin covering this issue on the level that it deserves. Let me give you a few examples and talk you through the potential ramifications. When you submit your application, you might face different office actions and receive such comments as, the mark is confusingly similar to an already registered trademark, or the classes selected for the goods or services are not specific enough, and even the trademark itself is too descriptive. To better prepare for trademark filing and to avoid potential mistakes, it is important to at least consult an attorney beforehand. One of the most common issues is determining whether your word mark can even be registered. Of course, there are limitations of what kind of terms and words you can claim, but you also need to make sure you are not trying to register something too generic and purely descriptive. To give you a better understanding, here's an example. As most of you may realize, the word mark Apple is registered and used for Class 9, which is computers, software, electronic instruments, and scientific appliances. However, the same trademarked word cannot be registered and used for Class 31, fresh fruit and vegetables and live animals, because that would be too generic as it describes a common fruit, apple. Keep this in mind when selecting the word and logo that you want to use for your brand. Even though your filed trademark is not identical to an already registered mark, the trademark office might view it as confusingly similar. Your trademark might share visual elements or have similar pronunciation, or even just elements of spelling and style with an existing mark, which might lead the trademark office to refuse your application. Remember, it's up to the office's discretion to determine if your mark might lead a reasonable observer to believe the trademarks were related or even the same. For example, even though Coca-Cola and Coca-Cola are spelled differently, it can be reasonably assumed that they could lead to some confusion. While trademark classification for goods and services between different countries are broadly similar, local trademark offices often have different requirements for class selections. For example, in the US, the United States Patent and Trademark Office requires an additional level of detail. Meanwhile, in the EU, the European Union Intellectual Property Office lets you register the entire broader class. For example, in the US, you would have to specify that your trademark will only cover t-shirts, sweaters, and specific items of clothing, while in the EU, you could register the same mark for the whole class of clothing, footwear, and headgear, which is much broader. If you are worried about any of these issues, make sure to conduct an initial trademark study through the TradeMarkers network. We can analyze your business and proposed trademark, explore potential conflicting marks, and even suggest which classes you should select based on your current business model and future plans. If during the publication period of your trademark application, somebody feels that they should be entitled to the exclusive use of the mark instead, they can file what's called an opposition. The result is that the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office then goes through the process of determining who has an earlier priority date and stronger rights, and then makes a decision whether to grant you the trademark or not. During these proceedings, both the applicant and the holder may submit evidence as to who started using the trademark earlier and who is legally entitled to its ownership. Please feel free to watch more of our videos to get valuable insights about the mechanics of applying for trademark registrations, defending your marks, opposing other conflicting marks, dealing with office actions, and many other intellectual property issues. My name is Jonathan Morton, and I am a licensed U.S. attorney and a member of the TradeMarkers Network. Don't forget to subscribe.